Hey everybody, this is Tina Campbell, the New York Regional Partner of Master Networks, and I'm really excited to have my friend Ralph Sessa. Ralph is a financial coach with Truvium Financial Group, and he's here today to talk about the philosophy and the psychology of money. So this is going to be very, very important. So I think you all should get out a piece of paper so you can take notes. How you doing, Ralph?
I'm doing very well, Tina. Thank you for having me on this show or clip.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely. And
I
go ahead. I'm sorry.
was excited that you asked me to do this, and just hoping that everyone will get some knowledge from my talk today.
Okay, good, because I've seen some of your past presentations, and it's very interesting and very different from what I've heard before. So I think it's really important for people to kind of pay attention. So I'm going to give you the floor, and if you'd like to share a screen, or if you want to start by introducing, maybe just let us know a little bit of who you are and why someone should listen to you.
Sure. Well, my name is Ralph Sessa. I've been in this financial space for about 30 years now, so I know a little something about finances. I claim to know everything. There's always things that I'm learning every day. I was on a call this morning, actually, where I just learned some really good information pertaining to my business. But I always want to be able to give back to other people, make sure that they are getting the truth when it comes to money. And, the word truvium is actually two words that I put together. It's truth and trivium. And it's a Latin word, which means a critical path of thinking that's scientific that goes against the common way of thinking.
Oh,
And
interesting.
yeah, that's what we're bringing forth to people, is this uncommon knowledge. Tina, success is unnatural. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, otherwise everyone would be successful.
Correct. So if it were natural, the majority of people, like you said, would be successful. Therefore, successful people do what most people are unwilling, incapable, or lack the knowledge of doing. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring this information and knowledge over to people so that they can be successful financially. I have a question for you. Are there things that you know that you know?
Absolutely.
And are there things that you know that you don't know?
Without a doubt.
And are there other things that you don't know that you don't even know them?
Absolutely.
So everybody's going to answer that question the same, right? We know certain things, we don't know certain things, and other things we don't even know that we don't even know them. So my mission is to share with people the things that they don't know in regards to financial matters.
Mhm.
Make sense?
Absolutely.
So now I want to share a little story with you. And again, it's a story, but there was once a man who noticed that every time his wife made a ham, she would cut off both ends of the ham before she put it into the oven. And it wasn't fat, it was meat. And so one day he asked her, honey, why do you always cut off the ends of the ham before you put it into the oven? And she scratched her head. She said, I don't know. My mother always used to do that. So they called up her mother and they asked her the question. And her response was, she didn't know. Her mother was used to do that. So they went to the great-great-great-grandmother one day and said, why do you always cut off the ends of the ham before you put it into the oven? And her response was, oh, because the oven was always too small for the ham. Okay, so the moral of the story is that this woman had experienced what we call cultural training, or family training in this case, whereby one generation teaches another a process, and that knowledge gets passed on to another in a short amount of time. But if you think about it, is it really knowledge? Or maybe it's learned behavior, which is irrational.
Right.
Okay. So, during the Depression, people were apt to pay off their mortgage as quickly as possible. Why? Do you know why?
Would it have something to do with paying the extra payments and interest?
No, because at any time, the bank could call up or the loan officer could call up and say, we need our money now. Right? So people didn't want to go into foreclosure. So let's get this paid off as quickly. There were like a tremendous amount of foreclosures back then because a lot of people didn't have the money. But that's not happening today. Right? People don't get their loans called in 1, 2, 3. They're paying it over time. So what are we saying with all this, Ralph? Well, what I'm advising is that people need to figure out for themselves what the truth is, not what everybody else is doing. In fact, usually what everyone else is doing is wrong. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yes, without a doubt.
Like, have you ever known the majority to be correct about anything?
Well, it's usually just people following, following one thought and not really even understanding why they're following that.
Right. So let's talk about the stock market. Do you think most of the people are winners or losers in the stock market?
I would imagine if we go along the same lines as success, it's probably the same thing, that they probably are losers.
Correct. And how about, let's even go to Vegas. The majority of people there are winners or losers. And there's a reason why those chandeliers look the way they do, and there's marble all over the place, right? I mean, it's crazy.
Right,
But
they're
yet,
not going to a shack they're going to a very nice place, so the house is going to win. Yeah.
yes, and yet people just get on this bandwagon and they just do what everyone else does. So we need to be contrarians when it comes to money. When everybody is going this way, we need to go the other way. Here's a quote that's worth sharing with you. A lie doesn't become truth, wrong doesn't become right, and evil doesn't become good just because it's accepted by the majority of people. Agreed?
Yeah.
Remember, if we do what everyone else does, we're going to get the same results that everyone else gets. How many wealthy people do you know?
Truly wealthy, I mean, I know of them. I don't know them personally. It's the top, what, 1%?
Okay. How many
That's
people do you know personally, though? Truly, like, wealthy. Where you say, and let me define wealth. They don't have to work any longer and still maintain their lifestyle.
it's probably a handful.
Okay. How many broke or just getting by people do you know?
A lot more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Point taken. Okay.
Yeah.
And also keep in mind that what's right for one person could turn out to be detrimental for another person.
Mhm.
Everybody's different.
Yeah.
I was thinking about these people who call up the financial gurus over the radio to ask them questions. And I've always wondered if these were staged. Maybe yes, maybe no. But anyway, within 3 minutes, Tina, they've solved the call's problems or situation. 3 minutes. And it's amazing. Just do this, that, or the other thing, and you're well on your way to financial freedom. Like a magic wand just comes over them, bam, or a genie in the bottle. Without much information, this guru has solved the issue. To me, that's malpractice. Let's say you go to a doctor, and after a half hour, you're waiting in the waiting room, and the doctor calls you in and said, Miss Campbell, what's the problem? Why are you here? Well, you know what? I have a headache for the last couple of days. And okay, is it sharp? Is it dull? How often does it occur? What happens? What do you do? And within, a few minutes, he says, I think you have cancer. I think you would run out of there pretty quickly, right? But that seems to be what's happening in the finance. Anybody can hang a shingle outside and call themselves a financial advisor.
Yeah.
And I say, like, what do you do? And 9 out of 10 of them, they're just selling products. Okay. And that's not what we're about. So this medical, they're almost like these guys like medical gurus, who are giving this advice. But to me, the financial people, they're marketers, and maybe even schemers. I don't know. But at the end of every call, if you notice, there's usually a mention of a book that they wrote that the caller can buy right now for 1995. I mean, to me, it's, I don't see it. But a lot of people follow them because they've made a name for themselves in the marketing space. Now, don't mishear what I'm saying. I'm not saying that these people don't know anything. Obviously, they know something. But I will say that their advice is usually bent towards people who are in bad shape financially. Okay. And what they're bringing forth is some common knowledge. It's not bad, but things like create a budget, don't spend what you don't have, pay off some debt, etc. Real simplistic teaching, but it doesn't create wealth.
Right.
And maybe some of the things that they're sharing doesn't make sense at all for some of the hearers. But I have a big problem with advice being given where it's across the board and it's a cookie cutter approach. I don't think it works. In fact, I know it doesn't work. Again, I don't say this to pat myself on the back, but I do have 30 years experience, so I do know a little something. And I just say to people, check me out as far as, is what I'm saying resonating with you, or this is crazy stuff.
Yeah.
you know.
I always felt that the best doctors were like detectives, and
Hmm.
actually, it's the same kind of a little bit for financial planning. You have to have the full information in order to give the proper advice, right?
100%. I've always said I feel like I'm a doctor. I feel like I'm a detective, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, an advocate, a friend. You know, I got to delve in. I got to know everything about this person in order for me to give the proper advice. I always say to people, the more advice, excuse me, the more information you give me, the better professional advice I can give back to you. If you want to give me just a little piece, I can't create it, right?
Yeah.
So I have to know as much about you as possible. And that's why I ask a lot of questions also. I don't assume anything. And I always tell every single person I'm working with, this is not about me. This is about you. I have zero agenda. I'm not coming in with anything. I'm a clean slate, just like you're a clean slate. And
Right.
I want to know things. And the more information I have, the better professional advice I can give to you. You know, the internet has a whole lot of information, right? So would you agree that information does not equal knowledge?
Oh, yes, correct.
Right?
Because it's got to be in what context?
Exactly. So the problem is that 80 to 90%, maybe more, of people, they're taking advice from non-professionals. It's what they've done their research on. And it's like they have a piece here or a piece there or another piece, but there's no sort of picture. Like if we took a jigsaw puzzle and dumped all the pieces out of the box onto a table, what would you have?
A mess.
Right? Until you start actually putting the pieces together, now it formulates the picture on the box.
Right.
And then within the professional advisor arena, there's a tremendous amount of amateurs. You know, anybody can hang a shingle outside and call themselves a financial advisor. I said that to you before. You know, 9 out of 10 of these people, they're just selling products. And I don't think that that is the answer to financial success. Have you played any sports growing up that required equipment at all?
Well, ran track, but you still need to have decent shoes.
Okay. But did you play anything with a racket or a stick, like
Sure.
softball? Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
let's say you played softball and I bought you the best baseball bat on the market when you were playing softball. Would you have played any better?
No.
But if I sent you to softball camp for the next 6 months while you were playing, you would have probably played better, more so than you would have with just the bat.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So, but yet if you turn on the TV, open up a magazine or newspaper, are they pushing lessons or are they pushing products?
Products.
Products, right? Buy this product, it's going to make you play. No, it's not.
Yeah.
And that's what people get, I don't want to use the word suckered into, but let's use it, suckered into. And they wind up buying these things thinking that this is the answer, and it's not. You know, if you don't know how to swing a baseball bat, it doesn't matter what bat that you're using,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So what we're teaching our clients is uncommon knowledge. We're not concerned with anybody's opinion. You know what they say about an opinion, right? It's like a nose, everybody has one.
Yeah.
They use different things, but we want facts. And I believe that people want facts also. You know, someone can say to me, you know, I don't agree with gravity. I'll say, you know, oh, that's cool. You know, you don't have to agree with gravity. Why don't we go to the top of the roof and you go first and let's see what happens. Okay. So, and then I'll yell down, I believe your opinion was not factual. Okay. So we're educators, okay, financial coaches, and we want to bring forth facts so that people can make intelligent decisions for their lives and their families' lives. All right. So this all sounds great, Ralph. How? How do you help people financially? Well, first of all, we become what we call a macro manager. So now I would like to show you a piece. Okay.
Okay.
I'll share my screen.
So when you say macro, you're talking about getting into the details.
Well, no, these are just, no, we're not there yet. This is just, okay. So you see, here's a person, you see you, here is my cursor on it.
It's you have to click on the macro manager diagram if that's the one you're looking at.
Yeah.
Just double click.
Yeah. Now, do you see you here, a little man here? No?
No, you're still on the macro manager diagram. You're sharing, but it's not gone in.
Oh, it's not showing it?
Now, are you able to double click on it?
Double click on the
The actual diagram. Maybe go back out and go back in.
So hit stop sharing now.
Yeah, stop sharing and then just go right back in. Just hit share again and see if it takes you back in.
Okay.
Sometimes it's been having some issues with Zoom.
Okay. Do you see this?
I see your four files.
Okay. How about now? Do you see the micromanager?
Mm, no.
No?
Have you clicked on it and hit open on the bottom, or do you see?
Um, let me see. I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay.
Let's, can you see
Maybe.
that?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So you'll see you here. There's a
Hmm.
gentleman, and then to the right, macro manager. And
Hmm.
then on the outside, we have all different advisors that somebody may have, a real estate agent, a banker, life and health, yada, yada, yada. And then we sit in the middle with the client. And our job is to work with all of these other micromanagers and bring some sort of accountability and bring coordination, because nobody's talking to anybody, right?
Right.
The banker, he's doing his thing, the life and health agent, they're doing their thing, the accountant, the attorney, and there's no sort of coordination. So even over and above many times what, let's say, an accountant is doing for somebody, we're able to come in and save people tax dollars. I don't tell the accountant what to do. I just tell the client, this is what I want you to share with your accountant. And 10 out of 10 times we're right in what we're saying to the accountant to do. Or the legal matters. Many times people have the wrong types of wills or trusts. So we have other people that are looking at these things as well. And it's all about, Tina, it's not, where you know, the head honcho, but somebody has to quarterback the team. And I
Mhm.
believe that when somebody has a team of people working around them, a team, so it's no big I's and there's no little U's, but everybody's working for the betterment of the clients. And
Yeah.
somebody needs to be that quarterback and go-to person, and that's the role that we play in all this. It's all about efficiency and saving people money. So now what I'd like to share with you is how we make decisions. Okay, we utilize a model so that we can make decisions not based upon opinion, but factual. So we can take any product or strategy that someone is doing or thinking about doing and measure its weight in gold, so to speak. So if I can share that with you, um, uh, do I hit new share or stop share first?
You could try new share. If not, we'll just go back out and come back in.
There's new share. Um,
I think it's going into your client sample model.
okay, that's good.
It's spinning.
You see something there?
It's just at the four files like it was before. If you want to
Oh,
go out and come back in, it
so
just,
nothing open. Okay.
yeah, you might want to open it.
We know that. Share screen again.
Yeah, just probably open it before you go back in to the actual client model you were looking at, and then you'll be able to choose that one probably.
Oh, open it first, you're saying.
Yeah,
Um, okay,
usually. Yeah.
I could also share, hold on. If I can also share from my exit screen. Can I share from my desktop also?
You should be able to, should give you some choices when you hit the share button. Hit the green button and then you should be able to have some choices on where it opens.
Uh,
But the team approach, to me,
yeah.
that makes so much sense that, people should be coming to you and then speaking to you about all the vetted people that you have surrounding yourself with. You know what I mean? Because that's invaluable.
And we work with their advisors also. So, I'll call someone up and say, hi, we have a mutual client,
Mm.
and I'd like to introduce myself, and this is what we talked about, because I want everybody to be on board. There's too many times advisors, they have, you know, there's ego out there, right? And everybody wants to wear everybody else's hat. I'm not trying to wear anybody's hat. I know what to look for in certain things. And if the other advice, here's a perfect example. I had a client one time, he was a doctor, and he was getting back $30,000 a year in tax refund money. And I asked him, I said, can you use an additional $2,500 a month in your paycheck? Because absolutely. I said, well, why are you getting back $30,000 a year? He said, I don't know. My accountant did this for me. And I said, okay, well, let me speak with him. And, his mindset, the accountant's mindset, well, I like when my clients get a big chunk this way. I said, but they need it now. And we're going to be able to help them to manage that money now, that he doesn't have to wait. It's almost like, you're treating him like a child, right? By having him get this big, and, the client said, oh, I'm getting this $30,000. I said, that's like going to Nordstrom's. You're going to buy a pair of shoes. The shoes cost, $300, and well, let's say they cost $250, and you give the teller, the cashier $300, and then you leave, and then you get into your car and you realize, hold on, they didn't give me back my $50. So you go back into the store, say, I was just here, I bought these shoes, and I gave you $300. The shoes were $250. You owe me $50. Oh, we're going to give you back that in April. How would you feel about that? Oh,
Yeah.
no, that's not good. But that's what's happening with tax dollars. And so, I was able to speak with the accountant on this, and the client wanted that. So we were able to now increase his exemptions and get that $2,500 per month back into his pay. So that was, a winning strategy for him.
Right. Got it. So
Um,
it's still showing the 4 choices
all
for the
right.
shot. But as you look for that, I'm just going to mention that it was always my understanding, and I learned this, that you really want to have like a zero. You want to pay your taxes and then just end up with just breaking, just zero at tax time. You don't want to get that big return because you really want to control it. Otherwise, there you go. You're showing it right now.
Oh, that
Other
was there? Oh, darn it. I
Okay,
had it.
yeah, it's there. You got
It's
it.
there.
Client sample model. Yeah, it's there.
And you see this vehicle insurance here.
Yes.
Okay, so this is our model. So as you'll see, the first area is the protection area. See protection here in
Yep.
purple. So this is comprised of all their insurances, from vehicle, property and casualty, liability, disability, down to life insurance. The orange area is all their savings, checking, savings, credit unions, CDs, tax-free, tax-deferred, and tax-deductible vehicles. And then the growth area, bonds, stocks, and real estate. So there's 27 different drawers that we look at. Now, somebody may have some, they may have none. Well, usually I have, or all of them. Very few people have all of them, but whatever anybody has, we're able to measure it on this model. And now we start to plan from here. So you see how it's symmetrical, and the way it's laid out, Tina, is protection, savings, and growth. What we find is that most people are planning the other way. Growth first, saving second, and protection last. And it's not correct, but that's what's taught to them. And we go into that deeply as to why it's not correct. Because if the protection area is not rock solid, remember, when your home was built, did they start with the roof?
No.
Where did they start with?
The foundation.
The foundation. Now the foundation needs to be rock solid, and if the foundation is rock solid, then the structure will stand, right? The house will stand. It's not on sand. I was working out at a friend of mine's house during COVID, and I was looking. We were in his basement, and I'm looking at the foundation. I said, it's ugly. It's really not pretty. There's no like pictures on it or anything. It's not painted, but it's so important.
Right.
It is the most important piece, is the foundation of anything. So your finances need to be built upon the chassis of protection first, and then the savings, and then the growth. There's too many times we've seen people who lack in this area, and now a monkey wrench gets thrown into the equation, and now everything crumbles. And it doesn't need to be that way. right?
Okay.
Any questions?
No, I think I completely understand. I think this is brilliant.
Okay. Well, thank you. But you know, everything is listed on this one sheet of paper, and then from here we start to strategize. We start to pull out each box by itself and analyze it. Is it working the way you want it to work, the way it should be working, the way you think it's working? You know, why are you doing this, or why are you doing that, or who's advised you? Again, the more information I have, the better professional advice I can give back to them. And if they're okay with something that I may not agree with, that's okay, because it's their plan. It's not mine. I've always said to people, you can make any choice you want in life. What you can't choose are the consequences of those choices. So just choose wisely. And I believe that it's important to work with somebody who understands finances and can be your advocate, somebody who's on your team, not somebody who's going against you or telling you what to do. So
Right.
I let people, they're pretty much building their own models and they're building their own financial future because that's what they want. And I'm just along assisting with them. Okay.
No, this is it's very interesting.
Mhm.
So,
Um, so I know you said 20 minutes. I see it's 1:30. I don't want to take up your time.
so tell us what, with all of this and everything that you're doing, if you want to stop sharing and we can just talk for a minute and sum this all up. Um, that what I'm getting to, and see if this is right, that um, you know, you have to look for somebody that's going, if you're going to be, giving your money over for investment, you want to look for somebody that is giving you a model so that you can follow it yourself, and then you can ask questions of, you can work with this person who's, because obviously if they give you a model, they're asking you all kinds of questions. You can fill in, I love it because it's like, for me, it's like buckets, you can fill in these buckets, you
Mhm.
can question them, you can work on them. It's very, it does it to me, it makes financial advising understandable.
Mhm.
And I think that's the key. When I know that I feel vulnerable when I don't understand,
Mhm.
and if a person is just speaking at me, not with me, or again, not pushing product,
Mhm.
because I don't want to understand the type. I know I want to know the type, but not, I need to know, like, maybe sometimes some choices to
Sure.
put in that bucket is,
Mhm.
so I think that's what you're saying. So for me, I think this is a really great way, if somebody wants to kind of understand, you know what you just said is like financial advising 101,
Mhm.
what to look for, and making sure that this person is not just like, oh, you need life insurance. Well, why? What's happening in my entire, you know
Right.
as you said, macro,
Mhm.
uh, uh, it's like your ecosystem.
Correct. I equate it to, if they're going to build a home, they first start with
Yeah,
what?
the foundation. I
No,
mean,
even
that.
before, what do you need? There's drawings, right?
Oh yeah, of course you need to have planning.
The blueprints, right? And that's our blueprints that we're able to now work off of, or an X-ray that a doctor would put up to see where the problems are. They derive from the X-ray. So that's our X-ray.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm just giving you my opinion, and my
Right.
opinion doesn't matter. My opinion is just as good as everybody else's opinion, but I
Right.
never throw around my opinion because it's irrelevant. I want to know what people want. What is it that you want, and what's keeping you from getting what you want? What does the bridge look like to get you from where you are to where you want to be?
Right. And it can consist of all these different, like, bricks almost, right? Foundational bricks to create. That's really interesting. Like I said, I've heard you talk about this before, but I really appreciate you coming on and discussing it again, because it's like, just for me, it makes so much sense that I don't know why people aren't looking at it this way. And I'm hoping that maybe we'll get some people that will look at this and start saying to themselves, well, I can really be involved
Mhm.
if I look at this and say, and start asking questions, and
Yeah.
then obviously come to you if they have any additional, if they have questions or they want to talk to you about it. So we're going to put your information, it's going to be like down below, in our YouTube description, as to how to contact you.
Okay.
and how to just ask questions. And I know that you're there for whether it's Master Networks members and beyond and their families. So I really thank you so much for coming on and explaining it. And I'm sure that we could always do another time a part two.
Sure. Yeah.
That's right.
Yes, absolutely. I love sharing with people. I love people to learn things. Even if there's no business, that's okay. This is not, obviously I'm not going to be, doing this every day, but, I always love to share the knowledge that I have. And I believe that people want it, need it, and should have it. What keeps people from financial success or working with somebody, maybe it's fear. Maybe it's hubris, which is, there's pride that people have and they're private, but, you could be private all the way to becoming broke also, or just,
Absolutely.
you don't need to do that. I don't think, but everybody's going to make their decisions themselves.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, and we'll look forward to, like, we'll do a part two of this, a little bit later after people have hopefully digested this one.
Okay.
And if we have any questions, I'm sure they could reach out to either you or me. But we'll be putting that information in the description for those that could want to know more about your particular, which I find individual. I mean, I've never, like I said, I haven't seen anybody do this
Mhm.
before, so again, I think that I'm hoping that people will reach out to you to get a little bit more information. All right, thanks, Ralph, I appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Have a great day, great week. Bye-bye.